Hi, as we approach the end of term, I thought, well, what a great chance to speak to you all and tell you a little bit more about our exciting catering change, which I know you've all received information about. But first, I just want to say a big thank you to Mish. Mish, as you will be aware, is leaving us after 33 years service to the school as our catering manager. And we all wish her the best as she leaves, but it has left us with the exciting opportunity of introducing Chapter 1 as the newest part of the BGS community. I've great thanks to those on the parent forum who represent each year group who came into school to meet with the company, to share the questions that have come up over the years around catering, to sample the food and to give us their honest feedback about the way we intend to travel with our catering provision. So with all of that in mind, we're now very rapidly looking ahead to September. The company are in, they're meeting with our staff, all of whom will remain, looking at the menus, any changes they want to make, making sure we're all clear of all the important bits for our students. In meeting the company, some of the things that made us really excited about working with Chapter 1 is the food journey they like to take the students on. And that's looking at local sourcing, where does the food come from, how is it sustainable, and how that will impact upon our environment as a school, but the wider environment of Bristol and beyond. We also are very aware that they're looking at to reduce sugar. So they have an aim to reduce the sugar content by 30%, which is a fantastic thing for us to be part of and doing the journey with them. Now, of course, I'm aware for many of you coming into school isn't something you do a lot of, and you certainly haven't had a school lunch for a long time. And so one of the projects we have and working on is how we can give you an opportunity to come in and see school service and school lunches happening and enjoy the great food that we know is coming in September.
A really exciting initiative we've launched this year with our Year 7 and 8s is My BGS Story. And it's all built around trying to celebrate the entire aspect of all the learning that goes on at BGS. Not just the fantastic things that our teachers are doing in the classroom, but also all the wider opportunities that our pupils get to experience. We're producing a digital transcript which is aiming to show sort of everything about our learners. So we recognise their academic progress through what they're doing in the classroom, through them writing a personal learning journey. So in the autumn, spring and summer terms, they will reflect on their strengths, where their areas for development are, how they can improve academically. But then so much of what we're doing at BGS is also happening outside of the classroom as well. So that's where they'll reflect on all those extra things they're doing, both in school, out of school, and how they are developing their personal journey through that. So this year's been a trial year where we've just been working with Year 7 and 8, and we did have a sneak peek in the spring term of where the transcripts are so far, and we're hoping to roll it out next year up into Year 9. We're also going to look at bringing it into our sixth form as well, and what we're really hoping is that it will engage all of our school community in better quality dialogues about our students and their learning. So helping parents also feed in and talk to their pupils at home about all the experiences they're having and how they're developing, and also for our tutor relationships as well with their tutees, getting to see that bigger picture and recognising and celebrating all the pupils.
A question I'm often asked is how can I support my child's learning? I'll go back to our basic principle. We have at BGS what we call our framework for learning, which all goes back to the science of learning and the way in which the brain works. We use Whittingham's simple model to explain this. So if you imagine your brain is in two parts, you've got your working memory and you've got your long-term memory, and we talk explicitly to the pupils about all of this. Your working memory is where you're problem solving, where you're trying to deal with things in the here and now, for example in an exam room. The issue with your working memory is it's quite limited. Between 3 and 7 items can be held at once. Your long-term memory is a bit like Sherlock's mind palace. It's like that big warehouse where everything else gets deposited, and that has a much bigger capacity to hold stuff. That said, you forget about 80% of what you've heard within the first hour, so our job as educators is to help strengthen the bonds between the long-term memory and the working memory, so they can retrieve the knowledge that they have learned during the course of their learning, bring it into the working memory, and then perform really, really well in those high pressure environments and in the exam room and in their lessons. When I go back to the question that I get asked about how do I support my child's learning, I often talk about self-elaboration, basically talking to one another. So at the dinner table, when you're having supper, what did you do at school today? Biology. What did you do in biology? Photosynthesis. Oh, I remember that from school. Can you explain that to me? And by the act of them explaining it, retrieving the knowledge from that lesson, they're strengthening the bond between their long-term and their short-term memory, All of our resources for supporting revision and supporting your child's learning are now in one place. So on My School portal there's a page called Supporting My Child's Learning, and within that we signpost various resources including our Learners Toolkit, but also a separate website called the BGS Revision Hub. That's an amazing one-stop shop of all of our revision resources. It contains past papers, it contains revision guides, revision notes. Anything you might want to find is all in one place on there. Your sons and daughters know about that website. Please ask them to show you it and work through it all together.